Good afternoon, folks. Monday the 6th here, 6th of October. There's a wee bit of a reflection on some stuff that's going on about the Irish language signs getting put up all around the place. Here's the thing about it, it's just, to me, it's just another distraction. It's another divide and conquer tactic trying to be used against us ODCs, ordinary decent citizens of this great province of Ulster, Northern Ireland. What Sinn Féin are doing is trying to, let's just say, poke the bear within the Protestant loyalist unionist community. Let's call them unionists, because we're a unionist. We're trying to unite here. Me in particular, I'm trying to unite everyone. Protestants, Irish, I'll not call them Catholics, because Catholics is another title that was given to them that doesn't really apply to who you really are, folks. You are Irish through and through, and Catholics, the Roman Catholic religion, let's just say, wasn't the friendliest of religions over a period of time. You just have to look at the Vatican. You know, it was the Pope that sent King Billy here to depose of King James II back in the late 1600s. Along came after that was the Act of Settlement, which forbid any Catholics to become part of the monarchy. And that was a system set in place all those years ago, but that does not mean that all you Irish people are bad people. I mean, I had 3 Irish grandparents, was born and raised in a Protestant community, so I am very much, I just sit in the middle. You know, I don't side myself of one side or another, but one thing I do is I always stand up against corruption and tyranny. And what Sinn Féin seem to be doing here is, let's say that's the LP too, and their bootlickers in Alliance. What they seem to be doing here is just trying to poke a bear. Okay, and I've said it before in my videos, if they're putting all the sexual offenders in East Belfast, they're putting all these dangerous fighting age males in properties in East Belfast, they're looking a big push and a big reaction, because obviously they know that me and people like me in East Belfast aren't going to stand for it. You know, we as a community have a right to protect our own communities outside of all these politicians, because these politicians don't own this country or this province. We the people do. Without us the people, this doesn't exist. So back to this whole distraction thing with these signs, it's just being pulled out of a hat. Everybody's forgetting about that Sinn Féin's actually working for the globalists and pushing their agenda very hard, which is all going to end up doing 5 years' time, central bank digital currency, where they can just stop your money, take your money wherever they want. These people sitting at the top are hell-bent on annexing everything about our magical culture here, because I say Ireland is known for its fairies. Some might know back in the days with their old tales. So, as regards to the signs, it's a distraction, and it's Sinn Féin going out of their way to try and push the Protestant people to react in a way that nobody wants to see, okay? Even as regards as the fighting age males being housed up in these hotels, it's the same situation. These people are working for the globalist puppets, Sinn Féin, DUP as well. Let's not forget about DUP, because they have been pondering down to this globalist agenda too, when they're changing words from mental health to mental well-being. Well, that's biting into international laws that are being made up to dictate to us. So our big push here now is against our politicians. You know, again, this Saturday we're going up to Chimney Corner, 1 p.m. May as well just make a Saturday thing. We'll have to keep the pressure in that Chimney Corner. There's an incident happened up in Glengormley there. I shared a post earlier on the day that there was an abduction attempt at a location up in Glengormley. Now, all these people in Glengormley and Newton Abbey and surrounding areas, I've been telling you need to come out in numbers and stand at this hotel. We need to come out and make an impression against these owners of this hotel. They're making millions off the backs of the taxpayer that's getting funded through the likes of Serco and, you know, Mears and NGO organisations. There's over 30,000 NGO organisations all over this island, folks, and they're basically they're imposing our downfall, the annexing of our cultures, both cultures, by the way, not just the Protestant culture. That's one that's being aimed at. Let's have to take a breath here. You know, here's the thing. Divide and conquer has always been the style and mechanisms of this two-party system that we call a democracy here. Democracy's dead. No such thing as democracy, especially since 2008. No. What they want is us in this whole, let's just call it, electromagnetic field around us. All this spraying that's been going on all over these years. It's not to modify the weather. It's to modify us, folks. Like the dome of Agent Orange back in Vietnam. Way off the beaten track here. The main point is that these signs, they're not going to work, okay? The youth council members that are going to try and push this, it's not going to work. You know, we have no need to learn Irish. We have been raised and lived our lives in the English language, and even the English language was bastardized over the years. We are in a new English age, and just like the Irish language is, it's not even the old Irish, so it's not. So, listen, see, unless we start banging our heads together, we're all going to die. We're all going to die anyway at some point in life. But if we allow this Agenda 2030 to be continued and steamrolled by these politicians, we have no future, folks. Remember, I stepped up to stand out to protect our children. Me, I'm 45 at the weekend there. You know, I'm over the hill, but I've still a lot of fight in me, and I'm still very agile. And I would like the rest of you to listen. We need to do this. We need to come together in numbers. It's the only way we're going to shut this government down. You know, I'm a political activist. This is what I do. I try to motivate people against corruption and tyranny. Because when tyranny becomes law, resistance becomes duty, folks. And I'll leave that with you. God bless.